Today, I come to you with another story. But this time I come to you with an uplifting story. An actual exception to the rule that pro wrestling is dead. February 2016, I got to go to Japan for the first time for a company called Wrestle One, led by the legendary Great Muta. One of the first people I met on that trip was the newest trainee of Wrestle One. Here we might call them green kids, over there they call them young lions, but either way they're the youngest trainees. And over there the job is quite simple. Every second, from the moment that they wake up to the moment they go to bed, they work their fingers to the bone to earn their spot. It might even be 6 months or a whole year before they get in the ring. But in that time, they will be drilled to death, they will be beaten senseless. And outside the ring, they will be making all of our food, they'll be cleaning our gear, they'll be cleaning the dojo, they'll be cleaning the toilets with their toothbrush. That's what they'll be doing. And if they want the job, they'll do it with a smile on their face. And that brings us to this young man. I don't know how long he'd been at Wrestle One by the time I got there. My best guess, probably 6 months. I saw him get beaten senseless. I saw him get drilled to death. I saw him make the Chanko and clean the toilets. And never once, not for 1 second, did I not see him with a smile on his face. He might have been the hardest working young man I've ever met in the business, and easily the youngest man I've ever met that has the biggest heart I've ever seen. Now, just a shade over 5 foot tall, he didn't really have a believable chance of getting picked up by the biggest companies in Japan. A lot of the times they won't accept someone under 6 foot tall. In fact, a few of the best guys I ever got to share the ring with in Japan got turned down by some of the biggest dojos for being 5'10", 5'11". Quite disappointing. But this kid, he never let that fact get to him. He never stopped working hard. He never stopped having a smile on his face. Eventually, the company sent him on what they call an excursion, where if they see promise, if they see a future in somebody, they'll send them overseas for a few months, maybe 3 months or 6 months or a year, England or Canada or the United States or Mexico. And this young man, they saw something in. They sent him to Mexico. I bounced back and forth between Japan and Indianapolis for the next couple years. Eventually, at one point, I'm in Japan and I ask, where is this young man? And they say, Mexico, on excursion. I leave, I come back again. By the time I'm about ready to come back home after a long stay, this young man strolls right back in with the same smile on his face and with a mask in his hand. He learned some awesome new stuff in Mexico, and it was his time to shine at Wrestle One. And shine he did. I kept paying close attention to what that young man did, because every time he succeeded, I felt like we all succeeded. I felt like I succeeded because I saw the hard work he put in. Eventually, Wrestle One closed when the pandemic started. A lot of the boys ended up scattering, just trying to get on with any company they could. This young man got an opportunity with a very good company. I won't say the number 1 company, but the number 2 or the number 3. He continued to work his tail off. This year, when January rolled around, Wrestle Kingdom got Wrestle Kingdom got announced. This year it wouldn't be 1 night, it wouldn't be just 2 nights, it would be 3 nights. And that 3rd night would be a collaboration between New Japan Pro Wrestling, the biggest pro wrestling company in the world, and Pro Wrestling Noah, where this young man had ended up. And at the time they announced a huge 10-man tag, I thought it would be the main event or the main focus between New Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah. And wouldn't you know it, that 5-foot young man ended up on the Pro Wrestling Noah team. He ended up being able to step into Wrestle Kingdom, the biggest show of the year, and being one of the biggest matches on that show. That kid worked his tail off from day one. I don't know if I've ever met someone who wanted it more, and he always kept a smile on his face. I remember the first time I saw him at that Wrestle One dojo, and when I watched Wrestle Kingdom Night 3, I had tears in my eyes when I saw him make his entrance. That, my friends, is an exception to the rule that pro wrestling is dead.